Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mike Dotterer, and you're on Champions on the Dot, and it's brought to you by True Hydration, Truly Hydration, which is a great product. If you're interested in the best water in the world, let me know. Mike Dotterer, I'm easily, you can easily get in touch with me at michaeldotterer@gmail.com. And also brought to you by the players NIL. Name, image, and likeness is not just for the superstars; it's for everyone. Actually, because we're moving toward a more, we call it a digital world. Your name, your image, and your likeness is important. So NIL. If you want more information, just go to theplayersnil.com. And then finally, the product that I love, I put it on every day. It's called Anesthesia. It's a great product, and you can go to 2BeKind, the number 2, letter B, kind.com, and I put it on anything, cuts, my face, if my shoulder's hurting me, my knee. It's the best product I've ever had, and especially as a former NFL alumni who took a lot of hits in Pop Warner High School and college. It's a great product. So with that said, I am really excited. As you can see behind me, that is a baseball player. And I'm going to be bringing on two amazing rising stars in professional baseball, Brett Barrera and Craig Corless. And I want to thank both of them for coming on the dot. Welcome, Brett and Craig.
Hi.
Hi, Dot. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Craig and Brett? Are you there?
Yeah, you can hear me all well.
Thank you, Brett. And go Cardinal, Brett.
Oh, absolutely. Got my shirt on right here.
I love it. I love it. And we had a nice win on Friday for our Cardinal. And so that's good. You and I are part of the Stanford family. And I am part of Craig's family because I met him. And you may know this because we talked about this earlier, Brett. Craig and I met with Ryan Hannigan at the winter baseball meetings in Nashville, and we've been friends ever since. And I'm just excited because I know Craig has a passion to climb the ladder of professional baseball, and I know you do as well. And I'm going to flash here. If anyone wants to know more about these two rising stars, you can just go to baseball-reference.com and type in Brett Barrera or Craig Corless. And why don't you let's talk first, Brett, because we've had Craig on. Brett, tell us a little bit about your background. I know you and I both we spent our high school years in Huntington Beach, and talk to everybody about your background, how you became a baseball player, where you're from, how you got to the Stanford, which we call the farm, and now your experience in professional baseball.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Grew up in Rancho Cucamonga, Southern California, about an hour from LA. And dad was a baseball player. He played everything too, but he raised me around sports, which I would not have had any other way. I was really happy he did so. Played everything. I played baseball, basketball, flag football, Pop Warner football, soccer, all of it growing up. So yeah, played baseball, ended up playing 3 sports my freshman year of high school, narrowed it down to basketball and baseball in my sophomore year, and then junior year of high school is when I decided to just go with baseball. That was around the same time I committed to Stanford to play baseball. And from then on there, it was just baseball from then on out. Transferred from Los Osos High School to Huntington Beach High School, the Edison rival, right? My senior year of high school. And then, yeah, spent 3 years at Stanford, got drafted after junior year, 8th round to the Yankees in 2022. And now I'm in independent ball, played with the Chuckers with Craig last year, or this past season.
Yeah, and I was just looking your background. I mean, you were drafted by the New York Yankees in the 8th round, and I was also drafted. I was drafted 3 times, but twice by the Yankees, not in the 8th round. I was drafted by the A's in the 8th round when I was at Stanford. So you and I have something in common there. And then you, I mean, you've had an amazing ascent. I mean, your junior year, and correct me if I'm wrong, you hit 351 at Stanford in 2022. What was that like? I mean, that's 351's a heck of an average in a top league. What was that like that year?
Yeah, no, it was really interesting. I mean, freshman year came in was 2020. That's when COVID hit, so we only played 16 games, got a little bit of playing time. But sophomore year, won the starting job at third base for opening day, kept it for about a month, and then lost it to another great player, Drew Bowser. But sophomore year, I would say I did not play a lot. It was a lot of bench. Um, so then junior year came around, and before junior year, I thought, man, this might be my last shot. Let's see how good we can get at baseball, and ended up getting good enough to be the get the batting title for the Pac-12. Hit 372 at the end of the regular season, and yeah, was the best player at getting hits in the Pac-12. That's something I'm really proud to say I've accomplished. But yeah, it took a lot of hard work. It took 7 months of fall ball and winter ball, like 6 days a week, getting in the cage. People don't see that part. People just see the success, but it's not easy.
Right. I know you've done a lot and practiced and worked, and there's kids out there that'll tune in and watch this this podcast. What advice do you give young ball players that are coming up through little league and high school and college? Now that you're a professional, what's the key? What are some of the key things that you think are important as you grow and ascend? With your ultimate goal to make the major leagues.
Yeah, when we talked earlier, it was your first letter was F for fun. I'd say keep it fun. You also had your letter C for craft, but I kind of put those two together. You want every day you go to the field, every day you go work out, you want to enjoy it. I mean, play the music that you like, surround yourself with your friends, the people that you enjoy doing it with. You never want to dread training. I feel like training's almost just I mean, playing in front of a bunch of fans there's a feeling nothing like it, but you want to be able to feel prepared in those moments, and that comes from just the hours that you put in. But I don't sit there and think like, oh man, like I'm gonna go hit for an hour, it's gonna suck. Like I really look forward to it, and that's something I had to learn because in the past it was kind of like, it's just training, it was training. But now that I've figured out a way to, man, like I'm gonna have some fun, it's going to be super enjoyable, then that's how you end up making your gains. You're getting way better. I think you're muted, Dot.
There we go. Well, with that said, Brett, I want to bring on the reason we were able to get you on was Craig Corless. Craig is the connector here, and he was your teammate with the Idaho Falls Chuckers. Craig, welcome to, again, Champions on the Dot. You've been on for 2 or 3 times. Tell me a little bit about how you guys met and kind of the bond that you have. What has brought you both together? And talk to me about, what your experience was in Idaho Falls and where you both see each other next year.
Yeah, so pretty much Brett and I were always down in the cage trying to, work on different angles or swing path or something. And we were obviously teammates, both infielders and stuff. So we would always just kind of chat around and talk. And we became close as the season's gone on. And there's a lot of guys there who kind of would come in and out so much due to roster moves and stuff. And we were both kind of the guys that were there from the first day on, kind of part of the nucleus. So that was kind of cool because it was a little bit of a revolving door. And we just became good friends, talking about swings, talking about life, talking about a lot of other, stuff. And, trying to help each other out was what we were seeing, what he was seeing with me, what I was seeing with him, giving me some advice. I gave him some advice, and we just kind of became good friends. And, after the season, we've obviously stayed in touch, and Now we have the same agent and stuff like that. So that has been awesome. And hopefully this year we both can move into a better league or get to winter ball together, which would be nice, or move up into a, a better league, or hopefully maybe be teammates again. That was also something we talked about. So that'd be kind of cool. And, and the bond that you make with some of the players and along with other players on that team, like names to talk about, like Owen Young and Owen Schartz and all these other guys that we were happen to be teammates with during the year were just really awesome people, and those special people that you kind of meet and talk to during the year, they almost you see them every single day for multiple hours a day. So you're just always with them, traveling with them, on the road with them, and at the park early. So you're always around them and stuff. So you spend a lot of time with them from, May all the way until early September. And that's how the relationships kind of start, all the times in the locker room and stuff like that. So we were fortunate to have a really good locker room crew this year. So that was awesome.
Well, as you were talking, Craig, I was thinking that maybe for the audience, what when you think of Brett Barrera and you watched and you were teammates, what do you see in Brett that's going to help him get to the major leagues? And then Brett, vice versa. After Craig tells the audience what he loves about your game, you can also talk about Craig and what kind of catcher he is and how he's different and differentiates from all the catchers that you've seen.
Yeah, I can go first. So, the thing that I always noticed with Brett is Brett was our best hitter, arguably one of the best hitters in the league. And the thing about Brett is he always kind of had his routine and his methods. Like he would always, do angle BP off the hack attack, or he'd go about his flip work and his tee routine. So he had a plan. It wasn't like a guesswork. It was always a plan. And obviously he got excellent results. But he would always stick true to that. Even when he was slumping, he was always doing his work and he kind of knew why he was slumping. But then at some points he's up there, he can hit a ball out oppo. He can hit a ball out pull side. He can pull a breaking ball. He can shoot something the other way. He can hit a single. Brett can do everything in a game hitting wise that needs to be done. If he needs a home run, he can hit a home run. If it needs single, it's a double or a triple. Like he can hit with runners in scoring position. He can hit with two strikes. He's a good two strikes hitter. So a lot of guys kind of panic when they get into a disadvantaged count, and Brett really doesn't. And he has a great eye. He walks a ton. So like from the hit tool wise, Brett is arguably one of the best guys in the league, easily top 5 in the league. And honestly, for an organization to see Brett, is he can do it. He can play multiple positions. He can hit behind the runner. He does everything offensively that all these organizations are lacking. And some organizations are now trending back to kind of getting away from some of the power wise and looking for more like contact and stuff like that. But Brett doesn't sacrifice the power. He still has the power.
Yeah, and then I'll build up off that for Craig. With Craig, you know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get a catcher who is advanced offensively, which is very rare nowadays. You see a lot of defensive catchers in the big leagues and in the higher minor league systems. You see guys that can receive and okay, go ahead, hit your 200, go ahead and hit your buck 80. Like Craig's a 300 plus guy. He's gonna get your offense there where in a spot where you don't usually see it nowadays, which is awesome. And I think what allows him to do that, be so good offensively, is he's one of the best I've ever seen at staying inside the ball, which means he can go the other way with the ball. He has that right center gap double, that triple in his bag, and then you hang something slow, he's able to turn on it, hit that thing to left center. So his center of the field approach is as good as it gets, which you can see it shows in his success. And then defensively, yeah, I didn't see any issues with him behind the plate. He's good at throwing runners out, really plus arm as well. So you're going to get that defensive aspect, which I'd like to say a lot of catchers have at this level and above have that good defensive, the power to be able to go throw guys out, throw plus runners out, go block any balls, go call a good game, which is something else he's really good at. But I'd say his selling point is the offense. He's able to do both, which most guys can't do nowadays. So anybody looking for a catcher that can hit, a catcher that can defend well and hit, I'd say is you're going to get that in Craig Corliss. Let's check the
Muted,
mic
Dot.
again, Dot.
Hey, thanks, guys. I got hit in the head too many times with the football, so I apologize. But I am so excited about both of you because there's nothing better than watching someone and obviously I'm just getting to know you, Brett, but we've got that Stanford connection, and I've gotten to know Craig over the course of this past year, and it's exciting to know that someday, I'll turn on the set and I'll say, hey, there's Craig behind the plate, or there's you, playing at third base. And so speaking of getting to the big leagues, I know there's some players that you've played with, both played with or against. Who are some of the players right now that are, maybe in AAA or in the big leagues that you guys stay in touch with? Because, one of the things that I know through the course of my life is if you want to get to where you want to go, you want to be in touch with those kind of people, whether it's in business or it's in professional athletics. So can you name some of the players that maybe you've built a relationship with or played against that you're in touch with?
You or me,
You wanna
Craig?
go first,
go ahead.
Brett? Yeah, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Off the top of the head, played against Tyler Freeman in high school. He's a really good. He was an infielder when I played him. He was a shortstop. Now he's playing center field for the Cleveland Guardians. Really great kid. Really great player as well. You can do everything on the field. See other names. I got the Stanford ties. Nico Horner at shortstop. He was gone the year before I got there, but I'd see him always training his butt off at Stanford in the cages in the weight room. So he passed down on some good advice. Just a good role model to follow there. He's a really good guy. Let's see. Just being in the Yankee system, I met all those guys. You got Trey Sweeney. He's up there with the Tigers now. You got Rafael Flores. He was my class. He's the player of the year in the minor leagues for the Yankees. So that's a huge, huge accomplishment, and he's worked his butt off. So that's very well deserved for him. Yeah, go ahead, Craig.
I would say Jordan Westberg. He was a first rounder at a Mississippi State. We played summer ball together. He is a third baseman for the Baltimore Orioles. I would say Jared Schuster is a Massachusetts kid. He was a first round pick out of for the Atlanta Braves. He's pitching for the White Sox right now, along with Sean Burke, who we were high school teammates. He's also pitching for the White Sox as well. I would also say a guy that Brett played with in the minor leagues with the Yankees. He's a Massachusetts kid. He's been up and down with the Yankees this year, Ben Rice. And I would say one of my college roommates, Brennan White. He's been up and down with the Tigers this year in AAA and the major league level. And then last but not least, my favorite major league player, my mentor, the guy I looked up to since I've been a young kid, who actually he's been on Champions on the Dot. He means a lot to me. He's helped me out a ton, mentoring me, and he's a Massachusetts kid who caught 13 years in the big leagues for the Tampa Bay Rays, Boston Red Sox, Colorado Rockies, Cincinnati Reds, and that is Ryan Hannigan, the 2024 Draft League champion manager. So.
Wow. Well, you guys are definitely, have surrounded yourself and built relationships with players that are, either there at the big leagues or making their way up. And that's just, I've always said, you tell me who you hang around and that's what you become. So just keep doing what you're doing. And as Brett said at the beginning, fun, you got to enjoy what you're doing. It just, it sounds, I know you guys do. So it's just a joy to have you on and kind of talk about, we're getting close to the playoffs for the Major League Baseball. What are your thoughts about just the clubs right now? You look at the Yankees, the Guardians, and the Astros. They're leading their divisions, and then the wild card race looks like the Orioles should make it. But then you've got the Tigers, the Royals, the Twins, the Mariners. And I don't know if the Red Sox still have a chance or Tampa Bay. What are your thoughts about what's going on in the American League?
I think it's going to be interesting, honestly, because a lot of teams right now are struggling a little bit, like Yankees, Red Sox are out of it. Yankees and Baltimore. So the AL East is usually the team that comes out of the AL East is usually the team kind of representing the AL, I would say, towards the end of the year. There's three obviously good ones with Tampa Bay and Baltimore and the Yankees, but I don't know who's going to be. I don't think there's a clear cut runner. I think it's whoever's going to be the hottest hand in the playoffs, personally, because each team's shown that they struggle in certain aspects, and I'm curious to see who kind of makes it out of that.
Yeah, I mean, Yankees just saw that they just clinched, so that was big for them. They got some big names. I think Craig's right, though. It's going to be whatever team can handle the moment. I mean, playoff baseball is different than the 162 games they play a year. At some point, wouldn't say you're going through the motions, but you're almost an autopilot during the middle of the season. But everybody knows once you get to playoffs, you see every pitcher's best stuff. Every hitter's going to be way more locked in at every at bat because every pitch matters so much more. So it'll be, honestly, I think the team that can handle the moment and the team that is the hottest at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you look in the National League, you got the Padres, the Mets, and the Diamondbacks, and then the Braves are I don't know. The Braves right now are out of it, but they're only 1.5 games out, and obviously the Dodgers have won 93 games, the Phillies have won 93, and the Brewers. Any thoughts from you guys on that on the National League?
Yeah, I'm a big Phillies supporter. I think the Phillies really enjoy their team, and I think they play a team baseball. They have great pitching. They have great infielders and outfielders, and they have a lot of guys who've been there for a long period of time. And I think they have like a really good veteran presence with, Schwarber, and they have the best catcher in baseball, JT Realmuto. They got Bryce Harper, they got Trey Turner. They just Castellanos. They just have this nice like group of guys that have been around the block and have played a lot of baseball games, has played a lot of playoff baseball games, and I feel like they've been really close the last couple of years. So I just think that they're kind of always in the fight and they always kind of play really good playoff baseball. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them back in the World Series.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, professional sports is a show business. I mean, you look at some teams that have guys. I mean, Shohei just got his 50-50 season, which is huge. Everyone's looking at that right now. I think the Dodgers are going to make a nice run. Just, I mean, the names that they have and the viewers that bring in. And then another team like that, the Padres, they got a lineup full of household names. So, I mean, if you're looking at it from how many viewers are going to be watching the playoffs, you're going to want to see the Dodgers and the Padres go deep.
Yeah. Well, if you had to pick, and I know just wild card, who would you say? It sounds like to me, Craig, you're picking the Phillies to do it all this year.
Yeah, I'm picking the Phillies for sure. I'm definitely picking the Phillies. I think they have I think it's their year. I think it's their year.
Yeah. And Brett, who do you like? Who's your team, you think?
I'll go, man, this year. I'll give it to the Dodgers. I think they're a really hot team right now, and I think they got the pitching to do it as well.
So, on the Phillies, who's the player that you most admire? Craig, obviously the catcher. You mentioned the catcher.
Yeah, definitely Realmuto. He's kind of an offensive catcher and a defensive catcher. He takes control back there. I think he's great. He's fun to watch. So I every time Phillies plays in the playoff game, I watch him. So.
And Craig, just kind of playing on this, what next year, is there any idea of what organization you're going to be affiliated with, or is it just wide open right now for you?
Kind of wide open. I hope somebody that needs a catcher and an organization that needs a catcher. I have no suitors. No, I don't really care. I just want to play with somebody that cares a lot about the catching position and where I could kind of come in and make an impact. So that would be awesome.
Well, I'm going to send this to Sam Fold, who's a fellow Stanford player, Brett. I know Sam. Sam broke my record at Stanford. I had 108 hits in one season many, many years ago. And Sam, I held it for like 20 years and Sam broke it. But So we're going to get this, Craig, this video to Sam. And Brett, who, when you think of the Dodgers, who's the player that you really admire most on the Dodgers?
It's got to be Shohei. I mean, he's the epitome of a power speed guy nowadays. That's everything. You look at every scoring play in the big leagues, it's either an extra base hit or a walk or a steal. I mean, singles have almost like been a lost art. So he hits the ball really hard and he runs really fast. So that's something all us young ball players can look up to, and something that is attainable if you can put in the work.
Well, just to let you guys know, I played on the USA baseball team back in I think it was 1981, and we had some pretty amazing players. Spike Owen was our shortstop, Oda B. McDowell, John Elway was on the team, and we went to Japan. And the reason I mentioned, you mentioned Shohei Ohtani, I would encourage both of you to figure out how you can play baseball in Japan, because, from, Ichiro to Ohtani or Shohei, they know how to play baseball. When you talk about craft, what a great experience. I had an opportunity to play in Japan when I was on the USA baseball team. We played in Tokyo and Osaka and then Sapporo. And I have great admiration. So if you guys can figure out, tell your agent, hey, how can I play in Japan? And, the thing about Japan is, obviously there's the professional level, but I would try to figure out a way to get that on my resume because it's a great opportunity. Do you guys have any friends that have played in Japan?
Yeah, I've had one. Yeah, he loved it over there. He thought it was a great experience.
And Brett?
I don't, but I mean, I've heard only great things about playing over there. I mean, yeah, Craig and I are going to play for a while, and it's going to be in different places. I'm ready to go anywhere to play some baseball. Honestly, I'm excited for what the future holds.
Well, there's a guy I played against many, many years ago. His name's Rich Amaral. Do you guys ever remember Rich Amaral?
Yeah. Huntington Beach, yeah.
Yeah. And Rich Amaral, we played against each other when he was at UCLA. And I'm just looking at his background, and I don't know if you guys know this, but he was in the minor leagues starting in, I'm just looking at it, 1983. He played in Geneva. 84, he was in Quad Cities. 85, Winston-Salem. Then he played for 3 years, 86, 87, and 88. He played in Pittsfield, which was in the Eastern League.
Massachusetts, yeah. He
played there for 3 seasons. Then he went to Birmingham. He was 27. He played in the Southern League at Birmingham. Then he went up to Vancouver and played in the Pacific Coast League at 28. And then he played in 29. He played at Calgary. And then finally, when he was almost 30 years old, he made the big leagues. And he played a number of years. He played all the way till he's 38 years old in the big leagues. So the reason I mention that, guys, is if you really, really love the game, which I know you both do, don't worry about, your path. Just do whatever it takes to get there. And the guy that my player that I always admired was Pete Rose. And Craig may have heard this story, and I don't know if you've heard it, Brett, but my grandfather was a baseball scout in the 1940s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. He was with Cincinnati, then he was with Cleveland, and then with when Mr. Steinbrenner bought the Yankees, he went over with Gabe Paul. This is 1975. In any event, in 1960, he was scouting in Ohio, and this little kid came up to him and said, "Mr. Daughter, I'm going to be a big league player." And my grandfather said, "No, I don't." He just said, "No, this guy's not going to be a big leaguer." Well, guess who that was, Brett?
Pete Rose, huh?
You got it. And that burning desire. And I know you guys have that. So I wish you all the best, Brett. And please call me anytime. And Craig, Craig, I'm here to help you whenever I can. And I'm going to get this recording out to all my baseball guys. And I hope it goes viral because, again, you guys, Brett Barrera and Craig Corless, people are going to know about you. And want to thank you. And what we do on the Dot is you guys get the last word. So we'll start with you, Brett. You get the last word, and then I'll hand it off to Craig, and then we'll sign off. Don't hang up because we're going to stay on, but we're going to end the broadcast. But there's a lot of people listening out there. You have a message for whatever you want to share. And again, thank you so much for coming on Champions on the Dot. So Brett, you're up.
Main message to everyone, man. Just don't wish your life away. I'd say that's a big piece of advice. I'd say look at today, look at what you're going to enjoy today, and yeah, every day is going to be a new day. You can accept the fact that it might go badly. Baseball is a big sport where you got to accept the fact you're going to get out 7 out of 10 times and still be really good. So that's a nice life lesson you learn there. But yeah, don't be looking forward to something that's too far away. Look forward to something that's going to happen today.
That's good, Brett. Very good. Very good out of you. Just kind of say take it day by day. Don't really get too front of yourself, even though when it's going well, it's always good. When it's going bad, it's never as bad as you think. Kind of staying right in the middle and knowing that you're always one adjustment, one pitch, one day away from figuring it all out and having it good, because it's going to go good, it's going to go bad. It's kind of what you're going to do in that other third to kind of makes up your season, and kind of just stay through the middle and stay right in the middle. And hopefully maybe Brett and I will be teammates soon again. And thank you for having us on, Dot.